with actually no more minutes to go. This should get started at any moment now.
Yeah, so as you saw in that grid there was a lot of drivers coming from last season, but also quite a few new ones. So it'll be interesting to see if that mixes up the grid. Maybe some guys that were at the top last season might be towards the midfield because of these new guys. You know, only time will tell. But like you said, I think there's been a delay or two with getting people into the lobby. Hopefully that all sorts itself out soon enough.
I'm gonna read some of the commentaries we've gotten in the commentary box, at least from my YouTube stream. PAFR Ashton says 3 people. Toys for Aston Martin is having problems, so I guess that's the explanation why we're missing the Aston Martin driver. This is just some info. Cool Guy says, I just remember Silverstone Division 2 last season, I believe. Remember that one, David? Yeah, I remember that. That was your race win, but I actually think it wasn't last season. I think it was 2 seasons ago, if I'm not wrong. I'm not too sure, but I think it was 2 seasons ago where you won at Silverstone. Ashton says Toys is out, Squidge is being invited, so we're gonna get a reserve driver for the Aston Martin team because the full-time driver is unable to join the lobby, looks like. So I guess when Squid joins, we are gonna get started with this race. So patiently waiting for the start of the Bahrain Grand Prix, which should have started 2 minutes ago, and there he is. He is joined the lobby, the Aston Martin reserve driver, Squidge. No, it's actually not Squidge, or has he changed his PSN, but it's GTA Gamer, FRL BIP GTA Gamer, who's taken the Aston Martin seat, and no, he is not Squidge, so we've got finally a totally different driver from what we were expecting. But now we should get started with this race. We have the full grid we wanted, and this will start any moment now. So I'm just gonna say that's the end of the pre-race show. We are gonna focus now on the start of this Bahrain Grand Prix. Qualifying will get started at any moment now. So thanks to all for enjoying this pre-race show, and goodbye. We'll meet you in a couple of minutes in the qualifying session. So welcome everyone to PAFR Division 2, supported by SpecCon. We are finally back after a long time since last race at Saudi Arabia in last season 4. Today we are here at the season opener at the Bahrain Grand Prix, the main track of F1 now this last 2 years to start the season, and I'm here alongside my fellow commentator Conal, also known as Moore Game. So please say hello Conal to the public watching this round 1 of PFR season 5.
Yeah, hello everyone. I hope you're all as excited as I am for this brand new season of PAFR. We have a full grid for this opening round, so there should be plenty of action, not only in this qualifying session, but also in the main race itself.
We see already some drivers have already come out of the pit lane. The man leading the pack right now is literally Siggins driving the Williams car. Then we have following the Alpine of It Might Dust, if I'm not wrong. No, it's Jaguar, I'm sorry, driving on the Alpine. All of these guys already on an out lap. We have also Evil Suk, the man that was with us on the pre-race show in the Haas, already on his out lap. And we're gonna start seeing drivers complete their flying laps, their first runs, which I expect them to be on the mid-29s or the low 29s, maybe some high 28s. What do you think, Conal? What are gonna be the first times we're gonna see on this grid?
Well, I think it's definitely very hard to tell because I think it was after a recent patch 1.07, if I'm not mistaken. The TT track, when you go into TT, the track is actually a lot faster and the conditions are a lot faster than actual qualifying itself. So, if we were going off of TT times, I definitely have to agree with you, 28.9s, 29.1s. But with the conditions being tricky to tell if it's going to be faster or slower than TT, the times could be anywhere between a 28.9 and a 29.9. So there's definitely a big gap to where the laps could be.
Now I'm going on board with the first man that's gonna set a flying lap today. That's literally Siggins on the Williams, coming out of the exit of turn 3. I think he didn't got the best exit. Maybe was close to losing a bit of Carter and had to slow down a bit to gain control once again. Breaking up a bit early, I think, not taking too much of the curb into turn 4. Down into third gear, now coming into this kind of fast chicane. Down into fifth gear, taking a bit of the curb. Now taking the next curb just a bit, not going through fast through this second sector. Down into second gear, taking a lot of curb now out of the exit of the corner. Now going to the trickiest braking point in all the track. He needs to make it nice and clean. He goes a bit wide there, loses a bit the apex there, but gets a good exit out of the corner. Coming into the next one, he's gonna have to take a lot of curb, but he doesn't, so that's gonna make him lose a bit of time there. You needed to take mostly all of the outside curve there to get a good exit into the next corner. Now I think this is the fastest corner in all the track. You go full throttle, but you have to go full throttle through there, but he didn't. He slowed down a bit into the end of that corner, so I'm not expecting this to be the best lap we're gonna see in the session. Coming into the final corner, is gonna go down into third gear, also not taking too much of curve there. And coming into the line, also actually Jaguar sets a lap first. I'm sorry, I got totally confused there. And yeah, as I was saying, this is not a good lap at all. It's a 30.9 for literally Siggins, which is way off the pace from everyone else. Evil Suk sets now the fastest time at 29.1. And look at that lap Cool Guy has just said. It's at 28.4, which is a massive lap compared to everyone else. So we were right. It was going to be 29 low and maybe a bit 28 high, but Cool Guy has gone over our expectations and has gone with a 28.4, which is much faster than I was expecting for the first run.
Yeah, I mean, that is an absolutely amazing banker time at 28.4. That's almost within a second of the world record on TT, where the conditions are faster. So you can just tell that Cool Guy really showing his pace in the Mercedes. And 28.4, that's an absolutely stunning time. 7/10 ahead of the closest driver, who is Evil Suk in the Haas car with his teammate right behind him. vintage grid. So an absolutely amazing time from PAFR, cool guy. It's going to take a lot from Evil Sook and some guys behind. Some people yet to set a lap, but if they're going to want to try and challenge for pole position, they're really going to have to push these cars to the absolute limit to eke out every last tenth.
Well, it's definitely now an intimidating time set by Cool Guy. We remember this from last season with PAFR Luke that was smashing the field on most of the races. It was definitely the man to beat in. It was really hard to beat. Looked like they were racing against a Division 2 driver, and we'll see if this might be the case with Cool Guy once again, if we're gonna have a dominant season by this guy, but I think it's still a bit early to tell. We still have to wait to the end of this qualifying session. We still have 7 drivers that have not set a lap time. But for now, it's a really intimidating time by the Mercedes driver, and we'll have to find out if someone will be able to match even that.
Yeah, and obviously there's still a couple of drivers who haven't set a lap time, some struggling. As you can see there, Ferrari had a spin down at turn 8, and still 5 drivers to set a lap time. I think Hughes is actually coming up to the end of a flying lap, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be able to see what kind of time he can set. Obviously, he hasn't got a time on the board yet. It's actually looking like a decent time so far, and it is. It's a 29.1, and that puts him P4 in this session. And Darkness Abyss actually sets a time himself and goes to a 28.9, so 5/10 off of the provisional pole time. But it looks like Eat My Dust is also about to start his lap time, and it's going to be his first of the session. Only 11 minutes to go in the session. That means we've already had 7 minutes in the session. So it's a bit late to be starting your bankers, but it's better late than never. And I think we'll ride on board with this lap. As we come into turn 1, you can see it's a bit deep going into there. Coming into turn 2, really doesn't want to cut that curb because it can unsettle the car quite badly if done wrong. We come on the run down into turn 4, not using the full width of the track on entry there, and that's going to compromise his line just slightly. You can see really doesn't want to use any bits of the off track, and just wants to stick to the asphalt there, as with these ground effect cars, it's very easy for the car to actually bottom out on most of the curbs and any surface that isn't on the track. It looks like the Alpine there of Jaggerman has actually retired from the session, and that's after a spin on the exit of turn 3. So he is out of this session. His final time will be that 29.580. But you can see Jaggerman is now coming into turn 12, and next up is turn 13. You can see hitting that apex quite nicely and getting a decent exit out of there using 5th gear to minimize the wheel spin. He just has one more turn to go. Let's see if he can nail it using the full width of the track that time, just about missing the apex, but still getting a decent exit off of there and across the line. It is going to be a 29.4, and that puts him P6 in this session.
Definitely a good lap, but not yet anyone to challenge Cool Guy. Still, the gap between P1 and P2 is 5/10, half a second. We still have 3 more drivers to set a lap. One of them is Kels, who is coming into a line now to complete his line lap and goes 11th fastest, 30.0, not a good lap time. Only to be in the middle of the grid. We have now Evilsuk, I think, is on another flying lap. We're gonna go with him now, following through his lap, coming into sector 2, up into 6th gear now, up into 7th gear for this next corner, down into 2nd gear quickly. I think maybe going 7th gear is not the most recommendable thing, as you have to go down a lot of gears really quickly. Now going really by the outside into this corner, not going in the inside of the apex at all. He's gonna meet some traffic there, Williams driver there, but not give him any trouble at the end. He's taking all of the outside curve like it should be. Up into 4th gear now, he's gonna have to go full throttle for the next fast right-hander, and it's improving only 67 thousandths of a second, and he's gonna go wide, and I think he's gonna invalidate. No, he doesn't, but he's definitely lost time there to not get his time deleted. Coming into the final corner, braking a bit earlier than the 50-meter board and not getting a good exit at all. I think he might just want to dive into the pit lane, but here comes into a line. And actually, he does a decent improvement, 110, but I think that lap could have been much more faster. That puts him 50 thousandths behind Darkness Abyss in second place, who is now on an out lap to set his second time of the session.
Yeah, and I think that was not the best lap from Evil Suk, like you said, but he did improve by 10th after all that, so you can tell there's going to be a lot of time to find in that lap, and with the track evolution just getting better by the second, I think there's definitely a good 3 to 5 tenths to find, and he could even find himself challenging for that pole position, but if he wants to do that, he's going to have to hook up the best lap possible in this session because he's 6 tenths off right now.
Now Magno Mergelato, the Ferrari driver, has gone up into 4th place, getting involved into the leading pack. Well, leading pack without counting Cool Guy, who still has a really dominant time. And look how confident he feels on that time that he hasn't come out for another run. He's just done that lap and he's still sitting there in the pit lane. I think he's just gonna go 2 runs in this session. Maybe saving a set of softs in case of a late safety car for the race. We have now Darkness Abyss, who has started his new flying lap. He's got a purple sector 1, but we never know if that's true or it's just a glitch of the game. But we're gonna follow him through the rest of this lap, coming into the trickiest braking point on the track. Is he gonna get it nice and clean? Yes, he does. Brakes really late, but nails the apex perfectly on second gear, gets a good exit out of the corner. Now he's gonna have to take all of the outside curve, which he does. He's gonna brake just in the 50-meter board, down into 4th gear and getting a really good traction out of the exit of the next corner, taking all of the outside curve, now going full throttle into the fast right-hander, 2 tenths faster into sector 2, but still far behind from even matching Cool Guy's time. I think he might improve another 10th in this final sector, but it's still gonna be around 2 tenths away from pole position time, provisional pole position time. Coming into the line, Darkness Abyss, and it's gonna be a 28.7, and yes, I was saying not even 2 tenths, 3 tenths behind provisional pole position time from PFR Cool Guy. Still not finding any rival on this session.
Yeah, but it's definitely an improvement there from Darkness Abyss, up 2 tenths on his time to set a 28.7. Now closing that gap down to just 2.5 tenths to PAFR Cool Guy ahead. And Cool Guy has actually gone with the strategy of saving 2 sets of soft compound tires, as that's a bit of a spin there for Darkness Abyss on his in lap. But Cool Guy has gone with the strategy of saving 2 sets of his soft compound tires, so we could see him go for a 2-stop in the Grand Prix. It'll definitely be interesting to see, and it could work out for him if there's plenty of safety cars. So Cool Guy could be on a 2-stop. That will definitely be interesting to see. But yeah, like you said, a little uncontested. Darkness Abyss is getting there though, 2.5 tenths, like I said. But I'm sure Cool Guy is going to go for one more final lap towards the end of the session when the track evolution is at its best. And remember, Cool Guy set that time towards the start of the session. That is his banker time. So with being able to improve on that lap and the track conditions improving, all of that combined are going to give him a couple of extra tenths. So Darkness Abyss, people like Evil Suk, Magnum, they're all going to have to find something special in their final lap times. But the Haas driver of Evil Suk has actually decided to go out quite early. So not waiting too long, maybe in case he wants to set 2 final laps in the session. Maybe if he invalidates his next lap, he'll have enough time to go for another. But we'll have to see how it all plays out. As you can see, most people in the pit lane, and they'll be going on out laps soon enough once it gets to about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the session.
Do I think it would not be that recommendable to try 2 laps consecutively, as you know, on this game tire degradation is much higher, so even a second lap think the tires wouldn't be that good, so it would be kind of the same as, with higher fuel, still it will match the previous time. But anyway, we're gonna follow Evil Suk into his final flying lap, coming into turn 1, going very much by the outside of the track, down into second gear and nailing perfectly the corner. Oh, he had to slow down a bit there in the exit of turn 3, which we were talking about was a tricky corner exit on this track. Now taking a bit of the curve on the outside and down into second gear, which I don't think that's much recommendable, but maybe to get a bit more of traction out of the corner. Down into fifth gear, going into the curb section, up into seventh gear once again, which I think he might go a bit faster if he didn't go up too many gears on there, but well, it's his driving style. Now coming into the trickiest braking point, which I think this time is gonna miss by a lot, and yeah, didn't nail up the corner at all. Went wide, yeah, but finally found a decent exit out of it. Coming into the curb and is gonna brake a bit far from the 50-meter board. And now he's not gonna take any of the outside curb. He's gonna go really fast, full throttle into the fast right-hander. Proving 4 times his previous time. It's actually a massive lap there by Abel to compare to his previous lap, and he's gonna be really close to Cool Guy's time this time. It's gonna be only with that, it's gonna be at 29.6 if I'm not wrong. Now with the final sector, can he even try and match Cool Guy's time and even defeat it? Coming into the line, and it's gonna be, yeah, P1 from Evelsuk. P1 from Evelsuk with a really good lap there. Even when I narrated some mistakes, but still, look at that. 28.3, finally Cool Guy at a really late stages of this qualifying session finally found a rival, and that is Evelsuk with a 28.3, but that's gonna be his final run, and the Cool Guy still has one more run to go, which he can maybe easily recover that P1. We'll have to find out. 1 minute to go, anything can happen now.
Yeah, and like you said, with that lap time from Evil Zook, a lot of mistakes, well, not a lot, but quite a few just small errors where you can gain a 10th there, you can gain a 10th here, and that just shows what his potential lap time could be with the 28.3. That is a rapid time, to say the least. But, with those small errors, if he can just iron those out, he could have even possibly gotten to like a 28.1, a 28 flat. So that just shows you how much potential Evil Zook has on this brand new game and for this brand new season. But it looks like Cool Guy does have one more run. He's about to come to the final turn, getting ready to start his final lap time of the session. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of time he can set as he comes across the line now to begin his final lap time of the session. Let's see truly how fast Cool Guy can go in his Mercedes as we are on the run down into turn 1. You can see getting as close to the curb as you like, but not getting on top of it. Very easy to lock up if you use the outside curb on the entry into turn 1. Down to turn 4 now. You're going to want to use the full width of the track as he does to get himself the most flowing line possible. Carry as much speed. You can see using third gear on the exit, that gave him a little bit of wheel spin and oversteer. So that's not going to help his lap time. But we now come down into turn 8. He's just hitting that apex very nicely there. And then once again doesn't use the curb on the exit. It can give you a lot of wheel spin if you get up on those curbs. Coming into this turn 10 and 11, he actually opts to use the outside curb there. A very risky move from himself, but it gave him the flowing line, it gave him the good exit, and possibly gained him some lap time on this certain lap. So as you can see, Williams almost getting in the way there. Thankfully got out just in time as we are now coming into turn 13. Cool Guy is 3/10 down on his time. So was it the right strategy to only go for 2 lap times in this session? He needs to find something spectacular out of this final turn if he wants to go for pole position, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get it. As you can see, he's actually pulling into the pit lane, so Cool Guy, who only went for 2 laps in the session, gifts Evil Zook pole position for the season opener here in Division 2 PAFR Season 5. So what a session that was.
Well, I have to say, I'm totally surprised with that. Looked like it was going to be a dominant qualifying session for Cool Guy. started with a really dominating time, 7 tenths ahead of the driver in P2. Then someone, Darkness Abyss, got a bit closer, but it was still 5 tenths. And then Evil Sook out of nowhere pulled out a massive lap and is gonna take pole position today due to Cool Guy trying only 2 attempts and messing up completely the last one. Unable to improve, he just aborted a lap, came into the pit lane, and that's gonna give Evil Sook the first pole position of the new game on the new season. Evil Sook, the Haas driver, is on pole position today. PFR Cool Guy is gonna take second place. Magnum Ergelato is gonna take third. Darkness Abyss P4, Chroma at P5, Eat My Dust on P6, the first man on the 29s. You can see the grid is actually kinda close. It's not as separate as you can see. I think there's gonna be at least 4 drivers fighting for the win. That could be Evil Sook, Cool Guy, Magnum Gelato, and Darkness Abyss. And well, you never know if someone else might get involved in it. But it's looking to be a really promising race. What we are looking forward into now. And we're also having to say Arin, previous season was always there and maybe in the top 5, in the top 10 places. Today, down into P15, 1.3 seconds behind. Not a good start of the season for the league owner, at least in qualifying. There's still the race to go, of course. Other one that surprises me is Juventino, that was fighting on the top places as well, and now down into P18 with 1.7 seconds behind. So some surprises here for me on this new game, but that's the interesting thing. The new game has new handling, new driving styles you need to get used to, and yeah, this kind of things can happen. But we're now going to focus into the race itself. We're going to go into the formation lap. Something you have to remember is that despite on the last game, as real life rules have changed, now you can pick the tires you want to start at, no matter the place you've qualified. So mixed strategies are going to be interesting to see now. It's going to be the first race in PAFR with mixed strategies. Let's see what drivers decide. If they decide to go something more conservative, maybe a medium hard, or maybe they want to go a really aggressive strategy on the soft medium or a medium soft. But also having to say that the tire temperatures are something that can give you a lot of issues, especially in the start of the race. So maybe starting on the hards is not the most recommendable. But we'll finally have to see what the drivers decide to go for on this first stint of the race.
Yeah, and I think going from last game where, almost every track you were going to be using the soft, medium, one-stop strategy, apart from the odd track like Canada where maybe you go for a soft, medium. But now with this new game, the tire wear is a lot higher. The tire temperatures are actually quite brutal after a latest patch, so a lot of drivers will be looking to turn down their tire pressures to try and negate that. But the strategies that you mostly see nowadays is the medium hard strategy, and mainly hard medium because it gives you that overcut. And when you come out of the pit lane on this game with fresh tires, they are very, very cold, 70-degree tires, and you need to get them up to about 83, 86 degrees to get them into the right operating window. So you do lose quite a bit of time on your outlap, and the hards are actually harder to warm up than the mediums. So if you start on the hards and you warm them up on the formation lap, that gives you less trouble when you come to your pit stop. You go on to the mediums, they're quicker to warm up, they're the quicker tire for the end of the race. But at the same time, if you went medium hard, you'll be fast on the race start. You can make up those early positions. You can go for a bit of an undercut, and then when your tires are nice and warm and your rivals are all coming out of the pit lane with very cold tires, you'll be able to overtake them nice and easily. But then obviously you're going to have the slower compound of tire, and you're also going to have the more worn compound of tire. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of strategies all these drivers go for.
Well, we are now about to start finally the formation lap. We are going to find out the strategies of every driver on the grid. I think most on the first places have decided to go for the medium tires. So let's find out now So Evilsook, Cool Guy, Magnum, Mergulato, Darkness, Abyss, and Chroma, the top 5 have decided to go for the medium tires. Trying to go not for the most aggressive strategy on the soft, but not a conservative one on the hards as well. They're gonna get a good exit out of their spots when the race starts. Then we have Eat My Dust that has decided to go on the hard tires. As you said, he might try to go for that overcut, but also on the start of the race, he might just be a sitting duck there. The hard tires are really hard to get in temperature, especially on the start of the race, so he will have to try and lose the less amount of positions possible on the start. Ben should have a good run on him on the medium tires. Then we have Vintage Grease, Elch, Richo, and Kels, all of them on the hard tires, so also might get a bit of a struggle there getting out of the grid. Then we have GTA Gamer, who is the only driver on the soft tires, has decided to go for the most aggressive decision. Starting on the softs, might try and go for a one stop on the hards, or maybe even on the mediums if he feels confident on tire wear. If not, there's also the soft medium could be a good strategy in here. Who knows? I personally wouldn't go for it. I don't think two stopper is a good decision. Then we have Jagerman and Berg, both on the medium tires. Arin, the man that has a lot of work to do today, starting on the hard tires, so it's also might not be the easiest of starts for him. Angel, well, previously known as Eckert, is on the medium tires. Teammate Womax is on the hard tires. Then Juventino, Deadly Mosquito, and Literary Siggins on the medium set of tire. So you can see kind of a split strategies, but the guys in the top 5 are all decided to go for the medium, so should be an even start for this guy. Let's see who gets the better run into turn 1. Can Evilsook hold into his place into the first couple of corners? Who's gonna be leading after lap 1?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. As you saw at the end of qualifying, I think it was Evil Zook, Cool Guy, Magnum, Darkness. They were all very close to each other at the end of the session. So that just shows what kind of pace that they have compared to each other. So it should definitely make for an interesting race dynamic. And I think all the way down to about P14 was just separated by about 1.2 seconds. So the grid is definitely very close, and we could see some exciting battles up and down the field.
And look at this, we have already 5 people, that's 25% of the grid, that have missed their spots. One of them is Cool Guy, so it's not gonna be an easy start for the Mercedes driver that might have thought of aiming into turn 1 on the Haas driver, but now with the disqualification on his grid spots, his chances are much more complicated. The lights are gonna come out at any moment now for the start of PAFR Season 5. Who is gonna be leading into turn 1? Evilsook seems to have the advantage now that Cool Guy has been disqualified. For some reason this is not starting. Magnum or Gelato might have a good run into turn 1 as well. But here come the lights. 4 lights, 5 lights. It's lights out and away we go, and Magnum Gelato has got a really good start. Evilsook has not got a good start at all. And what a start from Darkness Abyss. Oh, and there's a spinner, there's someone in the wall already. That's Berg, massive accident before turn 1 even. Berg is out of the race already. Angel gets a penalty for a severe collision. Deadly Mosquito gets another 5-second penalty, but I have to say, what a massive start by Darkness Abyss there, winning 3 places in the start of the race, and the total opposite from Evilsook, lost 3 places in the start, got a really bad start there. Magnum holding into his place. Cool Guy finally saved it, even with the disqualification on his grid spot, managed to keep it into P2, but with someone else totally different in the lead, that is Darkness Abyss, got a massive start, and I think, yeah, we've got a safety car in lap 1 after that massive crash.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't ask for a better start there from Darkness Abyss. It doesn't matter where you start on the grid, but to start P3 and to get up into the lead like that, he's been obviously practicing his starts, making sure that he's good at them, because the starts are so important. They're very tricky to get right on this game, with traction being one of the most difficult things to manage on this game. So he's been practicing those race starts. He's managed to do himself good and gets himself up into P1. Cool Guy maintains P2 after Evil Zook. You can see he is obviously one of the guys who struggles with the race starts, and that has now put him on the back foot as he's down in P4 behind Magnum. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. GTA Gamer, who started on the softs, could be looking to come into pit lane. Someone has come into pit lane there. That's actually BGR Angel. And is that because he has wing damage, or is he going for an aggressive strategy on hard compound tires? And he actually has a 5-second stop-go penalty, so he is going to put on the hard compound tires. Those should last him until the end of the race, but possibly if there's another safety car, he could be looking to box for his old mediums or maybe fresh soft compound tires. So it'll be interesting to see how the strategy now plays out after these first pit stops. You can see that's Deadly Mosquito who comes in for a front wing change. So obviously he was involved in that little bit of carnage there at the start. He also goes on to hard. Jaggerman actually opts for the soft compound tires, so he is going for the 2-stop in this race. And yeah, it's definitely interesting to see how it's going to play out.
Well, a totally chaotic start. My camera wasn't the best, but I saw wings flying. Berg, I saw someone in the wall. I don't know if it was Berg or not, but Berg ended up DNFing. It was, well, chaos. Mostly what you could expect of on the new game. Difficulties to get a good start with all the tire temperature stuff and all that. But thankfully 19 drivers have survived. We got an early safety car that's gonna mix the pack once again. So there's gonna be plenty of chances on this race. We have some people went into the pit lane, as you said, but for replacing their front wings because of that lap 1 crash. We're gonna have safety car for one more lap, I guess, and then we're gonna get going on lap 4 of this race. Darkness Abyss once again to remark that awesome start he got. Pula in second place, Magnum in third, and Evelsouk, who's gonna have now a lot of work to do. And another thing, just have to remark, what a massive start from Literary Seekins. He has won a total of 10 places on the start of the race. Started last, now is on P10. Might not have the pace to hold him to that place, but we have to remark that he did a really good start of this race.
Yeah, like I said, a great start to his race, getting himself all the way up into P1. But you can see the top 6, well, most of the grid, all the way down to P16, have all opted to stay out on their tires, but the top 6 are all on the medium compounded tires. Maybe not the best strategy from GTA Gamer. He's going to have to come in around the end of lap 6, maybe lap 9 or 10, if he really wants to stretch the softs to go for a soft medium strategy. But you see the bottom 3, they all went for that early stop. It looks like BGR Angel actually came into the pit lane for a second time for his old mediums back. So not really sure what the strategy is there. Maybe he got front wing damage under safety car conditions. I know Jaggerman actually spun at turn 11 when he was going under safety car, and GTA Gamer almost spins on the exit as well. But the safety car will be coming in this lap. As you can see on the minimap, BGR Angel is now catching up to the back of the queue. And yeah, Darkness Abyss will be leading us away. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of restart can he get. Can he try to pull away from these guys? Maybe even break DRS to Cool Guy behind as soon as he can. But the safety car is now in this lap. So only time will tell what's going to happen.
Actually, breaking the DRS is gonna be really difficult, also knowing that Darkness Abyss has started on P4, so Cool Guy I think should have better race pace. It's gonna be a DRS train is what I think, but well, he can try and break it at least on the restart and pull away a little gap there. I think he's caught everyone sleeping. Actually, no, he hasn't gone yet. I thought he decided to go already. Cool Guy looking for a move here, and now he goes. Really good restart by Darkness Abyss. Not a massive restart, but a decent one, enough for him to hold his place into turn 1. But here comes with a really good straight line speed, Cool Guy. He has to go a bit defensive there. Oh, and Cool Guy gets stabbed by Magnum. Cool Guy gets stabbed by Magnum there. That allows Evilsook back into P2 of the race. Chromat is up now into P3. Magnum Gelato now. Not sure if he got any wing damage, but he's lost the place to Eat My Dust as well. Cool Guy, here comes Cool Guy on Magnum Gelato once again into turn 4. Cool Guy gets ahead of Magnum Gelato, who I think might have wing damage. Literary Seconds made up another 3 places there. Another yellow flag going into turn 4. Darkness Abyss leads now, and well, not exactly by the reason you would have thought, but finally it happened what you said. He's broken the DRS and by a large margin of 3 seconds due to all the carnage happening behind him. Now Evilsook is not being put exactly under pressure by Chromat. He's actually pulling away a bit of a gap there. It might do some before Cool Guy is gonna try and recover the place, all the places he lost. Now gonna try and go for Eat My Dust. But still, oh, and Chromat loses the car there and it goes. I think he missed the wall a bit there. Now Eat My Dust up into P4. Been put by a lot of pressure from Cool Guy, who sends it down the inside, but now Eat My Dust is gonna get the better run out of the exit of the corner. No, actually he doesn't. Cool Guy is safe in P3. Now he's gonna try and go chase for Evilsook on P2. 1.5 now. Does Cool Guy have the pace to close those 5/10s and get in the DRS? Darkness Abyss now sets the fastest lap of the race. He might not be able to save too much ERS as Evilsook seems to have the better pace on him. But that was a really crazy restart of the race.
Yeah, I mean, coming into turn 1 there, it's a bit disappointing from Magnum. Huge rookie error, just completely outbraked himself and slammed into the back of Cool Guy. And, you know, that's a big disadvantage to Cool Guy now, who's 4.3 seconds off of the back of Darkness Abyss. So now, because of Magnum, he's going to have to do a lot of pushing. You can see the AlphaTauri and the McLaren going side by side into turn 6 and 7. But the McLaren getting the better of the AlphaTauri with the fresh medium compound tires. He just has more grip. You can see literally Siggins, I think he did actually the same thing as Magnum, just outbroke himself coming into turn 9, I think it is, sorry, the hairpin in the middle sector, and he actually slammed into the back of someone in the midfield. So that's why he's down in P9. Could have wing damage, which now slows you down a lot more than it did before in previous weeks, where wing damage just did not do that much. But you can see Cool Guy is pushing on, and he's actually managed to catch up to the back of Evil Zook. So he is going to have the DRS on this very next lap, as the DRS is now enabled. You can see Magnum also putting pressure on Eat My Dust ahead of him, who is on those hard tires, but he broke the slipstream on the straight there, and that's allowing him to stay ahead.
And I have to say the pace Cool Guy is showing now is massive. He was 1.5 behind Evilsook on the previous lap and somehow found 5/10 in just a lap, and now is at the back attacking Evilsook. Oh, there's a yellow flag. That is the McLaren of Richo, I think, down into P16. A normal spinner there. No safety car is going to come out due to this. Elgin Banner once again into the pit lane. Cool Guy trying to put a lot of pressure on Evilsook, but still we'll have to see on the main straight if he's able to send a move down into turn 1 or even before. But now 8/10 behind, Evilsook both starting to build a bit of a gap. Magnum Gelato has got posied by Dust as well. GTA Gamers also getting involved in the pack, is on DRS of Eat My Dust. Can he stick there? Now is the question. I don't know, I think he won't be able to stick. He's already more than a second behind. Kagana have to focus on the battle for second place between Evilsook and Cool Guy. And having to say, Abyss is losing a lot of time. The gap was 3 seconds 2 laps before. Now it's down to 2 seconds between him and Evilsook. So Evilsook at this pace should be there in around 2 more laps. Abyss doesn't seem to have the better pace. Cool Guy not using his ERS to close too much the gap on Evilsook. He is, I think, gonna try and spare some energy there. Also knowing that Evelsuk is closing the gap into the race leader Darkness Abyss. Magnum Margelato is now totally off the pace of the leader, so it's gonna be a three-way battle at this point for the lead, and we'll have to see if the stops start to come into play. If we are gonna start seeing drivers stop in the next couple of laps. I think it's still kind of early for the medium tires, 7 laps. They can definitely extend a bit more here.
Yeah, I definitely think they can. They'll be looking to go to around lap 12, lap 13. But while the battle for P2 is going on, so is the battle for P9 in this race. It's actually quite a big train that's formed all the way down from P9 to P14. They're all battling away. Literally, Stiggins has been struggling for pace, and he actually told me before the race that he hasn't really touched this game. He hasn't played much of it, so he hasn't got much practice, and that's why he has been struggling quite a bit. But while that's going on, Magnum and Eat My Dust also going side by side into turn 13. Magnum with the inside line, trying to defend from the hard compound tire runner, but Eat My Dust actually gets the better exit out of there. Even with the hards, even with less than 10% ERS, Eat My Dust gets that position and moves himself right back into P4. So he's putting up a fight against Magnum, who's trying to save a little bit of his ERS, but with the power of the DRS, he just has so much straight line speed, so he looks to the inside line up against Eat My Dust. Eat My Dust goes deep into the turn to try and hold that outside line, and he manages to get it because Magnum is going to have to back out of that move. Does not want to go side by side into turn 3, but you can see how close he is. And while that's happening, Cool Guy is now going side by side with Evil Zook and gets up the inside into turn 6. So Cool Guy gets that position and move himself up into P2. He's now going to be on the charge to try and catch up to Darkness Abyss ahead. And I think at this stage of the Grand Prix, Evil Zook is just going to be looking to hold on to the DRS of Cool Guy ahead and possibly save some ERS and just let the Mercedes pull him along.
That could be a good strategy by Evil Zook, but we'll have to see. He's actually really close, only 3 tenths behind. Might be thinking about a revenge into the main straight. Actually not anymore, he's lost pace there. Oh, and there's an accident. That is the AlphaTauri of Angel down into around turn 11. Now Evil Zook's lost 8 tenths to Cool Guy. He's gonna have the DRS, but the question is if he can stay in that DRS range for the coming laps, which now looks kind of difficult that it will be able to happen. He's almost lost it already. He's gonna have DRS into the second DRS straight. Yes, he will. He has the enough, but not sure he will do for the next couple of laps. Magnum Gelato is the first driver to pit from the leaders, going for the hard tires. I think that was kind of an early pit stop in my opinion. Could have extended a bit more, but he's down into the pit lane and down into P14. We're gonna have really cold tires on this out lap. Just behind Angel there in P16. We're gonna go now on the battle for P9. Literally Stiggins just ahead of Kels, who is now on the hard tires, trying to attack the Williams driver. The Williams driver doing his best to defend. He might not have the pace. He qualified last on this race, but now fighting as hard as he can to stay ahead. Currently on a point position, but we'll have to see if he's gonna be able to stay there or not. Oh, and actually Kels has tapped his back and now he's gonna get the move done, but he's gonna slow down, which is really good sportsmanship by him, letting him by. But actually he's now I forgot what I said. He was getting the move done into the next corner. No, but actually he slows down and lets him by. Actually there was not much he could do. And yeah, now he stays ahead. Now going side by side with his teammate into this hard breaking point, into this fast right-hander, and now Deadly Mosquito is gonna be ahead. There's another yellow flag. That's the Alpine of the Jaguar man spun into before the fast right-hander. Now Deadly Mosquito is gonna have another run on Literary Stiggins into the main straight, but he's kind of a bit far behind. GTA Gamer is into a pit lane on this soft set of tires. I guess he's gonna go for hards. No, he's actually going for medium tires and is going for a new front wing. An interesting battle between the Alfa Romeos and literally Siggins coming here into turn 3. Now it's gonna go down all the way into turn 4, but literally Siggins has the advantage, 3/10 advantage to stay safe into turn 4. Chromad is now also getting involved in this battle after he's been trying to recover a couple of places, but on the Alfa Romeos as well, gets ahead of Kels, but yeah, an interesting battle here for in the midfield.
Yeah, and you saw a few laps earlier, Magnum going for that absolutely massive undercut on the top guys, and we'll have to see if it works out for him. I think his strategy was he wants to get within the DRS of the top 3, maybe top 2, and to do that he needs to go for that undercut, gain that track position, or maybe it was because he was battling so much with Eat My Dust, he just wanted to stop losing all of that time. We opted to box. We didn't have to deal with it. You can see Darkness Abyss is now coming into the pit lane, and it'll be interesting to see now where Magnum is going to come out relative to him. Darkness is coming in for the hard compound of tires, which should last him until the end of the Grand Prix. But you can see now Magnum is on the back straight and coming into the final turn, so maybe he hasn't made this undercut work at all, because you can see now how far ahead Darkness Abyss is. Darkness Abyss actually comes out ahead of literally Siggins. No, he comes out just behind because he has the cold tires, and now he's under pressure from all of these drivers, getting absolutely swamped into turn 4, and in the matter of just 3 turns he's lost about 4 positions. He tries to fight it around the outside, but with these cold tires he has absolutely no grip, and that's some really bad timing for Darkness Abyss, who is now going to have to re-overtake all 4 of these drivers, 2 of which are on the hard, so they're going to be staying out for quite some time. So you can see Magnum is actually over 10 seconds behind, so that undercut really hasn't worked out for him. Chromad makes a mistake into turn 10, goes very wide out of there, and gets re-overtaken by all 3 cars. You can see this battle raging on. Literally Siggins is now defending from Deadly Mosquito, who has the outside line, and actually going off the track there slightly and bottoming out on the curb, so he had to lift off of the throttle to make sure that he didn't spin the car. He's currently P8 and right on the back of P7, and under some heavy pressure from his teammate Kells behind, who is now looking for the move into the final turn, overtaking Gage, and he has this inside line, but Deadly Mosquito, you can see how late he's braking, almost heading into the back of literally Siggins, who's going into the pit lane. No, he actually fakes it slightly because he was trying to break the slipstream to Kells. Kells is now looking to the outside, the inside. Chromad gets himself in a P9. Kells can't make the move work. He's now under pressure from Chromad. That's because literally Siggins has gone very deep into the braking zone. Has to leave space for Chromad when re-entering the track. He now gets overtaken by Deadly Mosquito. He went from P7 to P10 just like that. You can see how close these drivers are. And Darkness Abyss trying to get into the battle. There's now 7 cars who are all battling each other on track. Darkness Abyss looking to the inside at turn 6, can't make the move work. That means BGR Angel maintains that position, and wow, that is a lot of fighting in this big train.
Well, but what I have to remark more of this has been a massive strategic disaster for Darkness Abyss there. Oh, and now he spun round there at turn 11, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, I think this has been a massive disaster on the strategy, putting himself behind a around 6 car train when he could have easily extended a bit more that stop, and now, well, he's behind all these guys, hasn't been able to overtake, he's losing massive time, and that is going to leave free way for Cold Eye to push at the lead of the race and extend even more that stop. Let's see what is the gap between the leader and Darkness Abyss. It's 33 seconds, which is a massive gap. It should be only around 20 seconds. It's now into 33 seconds. Cool Guy can comfortably come into the pit lane and be easily around 13 seconds ahead of Darkness Abyss. That's how bad the decision was. The timing was terrible for Darkness Abyss. But we're gonna keep focusing on this massive battle we're having here on the midfield, around 7 cars, but I think it's now dissipated a bit. There's not much people involved in the fight, or it's They're taking a bit of a break here. Here comes Deadly Mosquito on the back of Chromat. Chromat on the back of Kels, who has now built a bit of a gap there. 8 10, 7 tenths ahead of Chromat. Then you have Deadly Mosquito, Richo, then Angel. Darkness Abyss is trying to catch back the pack. And well, he'll have to clear these guys if he's at least wants to save a podium, because at the moment it looks really unlikely how it's going. On the top of the field, Cool Guy leads comfortably 4.2 seconds ahead. There's been a spinner by a Ferrari, that's Magnum Gelato, who might not get involved in all the... No, it's actually Juventino the one who spun. I'm sorry, Juventino is not Magnum Gelato. It's now behind all this car train. Cool Guy is coming now into a pit lane for a fresh set of hard tires. Where is he gonna drop is now the question. Cool Guy is gonna be just down into P5, I think. Just behind Womack is gonna be ahead of all this train. He definitely doesn't want to be behind. Easily just behind Womack. He's gonna come out ahead, but he's definitely gonna lose the place due to the really cold tires. There goes Womack. Easily past Cool Guy on the... Oh, and Cool Guy spawns! Cool Guy spins at the exit of his pit stop into turn 3. Massive mistaking now. He's gonna be caught behind all this train. Still cold tires for the Mercedes driver. Massive mistakes, and that might be the move that threw away the win today. Is now behind Deadly Mosquito, but I am expecting him to lose much more places with the cold tires. Here comes Richo behind the Mercedes driver. This is gonna allow Darkness obviously might get him back in contention now. Cool Guy 1 second behind. Here comes Richo behind at the back of the Mercedes driver. Coming into turn 11, he's gonna try and get the move all the way by the outside, but he's gonna easily get the move done into the DRS zone. Cool Guy with still no grip on those tires should be overtaken easily at some point by Richo, Angel, and Darkness Abyss might get ahead as well. Here comes Darkness Abyss, gonna send a dive down the inside of Angel. No, he doesn't, but Angel goes a bit wider. Abyss is gonna get the better traction and now gets the move done. He might even get the move done on Cool Guy after that massive mistake. And that opens a big gap for Evil Souk to take the win of the race today after mistakes from his two rivals on this race. But we'll have to see. 14 laps on those medium setup tires, still a long way to go to the end of the race. Evil Souk was talking about an aggressive strategy, so might that be a medium soft? Could well be, which is totally possible on this track. Tires might be a bit degraded, but nothing is impossible. He can try and go for that medium soft, which might be what will decide this race at the end. Cool Guy finally managed to hold the place on Richo, got the tires on temperature, but now he's gonna have to make up some places. Gonna involve in all this traffic ahead of him.
I mean,
Darkness Abyss. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Go on.
I was just gonna say about Cool Guy that was a complete rookie error there, coming out of the pit lane on cold hard tires, and he was kind of driving like he was on fresh mediums. So fresh warm mediums, and if you try drive like that, you push the accelerator too much, you're obviously gonna spin like that. And even after Darkness Abyss having a spin and projected to be 8 seconds behind Cool Guy, maybe even more coming out of the pit lane, he is now just 1.4 seconds behind as he's trying to make the move on Richo into turn 11, and now the flat out right hander of turn 12. He has the better exit, but coming into turn 13 he just doesn't have the space, and with Richo defending the inside line they actually make contact there. But Darkness Abyss now has a good exit out of that turn 13 and is looking to the inside for turn 14. Can't brake late enough as Richo is using all of his ERS. You can see his red light is constantly flashing. That's because he's got absolutely nothing left ERS wise, which is now going to allow Darkness Abyss to make quite an easy move to the inside, but he doesn't actually use any of his ERS, so it's going to make it a little more difficult. Cool Guy also making moves in the background, but Darkness Abyss manages to get himself up into P9 now, and he's going to be chasing down Cool Guy, who just overtook Deadly Mosquito for P7 in this race. So as you can see, the top 6 all have to make a pit stop in this race, and the sooner the better for Cool Guy. because they're definitely holding him up at this point. You can see how closely he's following to Chromad ahead, and Chromad, who is on the old medium compound of tires, is going to be losing Cool Guy quite a bit of time. That's a yellow flag now in the middle sector. That's BGR Angel, who has spun on the exit of turn 8 in the middle sector, and that has cost him quite a bit of time. And he's also got himself a 3-second time penalty, which I think he got trying to defend from Darkness Abyss at turn 13. So his race not going great, as he still has a pit stop to make onto hard tires. But yeah, Evil Zook still has a box. You can only assume that he is going for the medium soft compound tires, and if I had to guess, that strategy probably won't work out for him. But as you can see, the gap to himself and Cool Guy behind is 25 seconds. Cool Guy has lost a lot of time from the spin, and Deadly Mosquito also spinning now on the exit of the final turn. That is going to lose him a lot of time, doing 360s 4 days, and he's now just hit into the wall, and most likely he has broken his front wing. So he did 2 360s and then just absolutely slammed his car into the wall. So Deadly Mosquito is going to lose a lot of time because of that, because he now has to come into the pit lane to retire his front wing. But yeah, Evil Zoop is going to be able to go to the softs. He's most likely going to come out just 3 seconds or 2 seconds behind Cool Guy once everything filters out. So Zook is going to be one to watch for this race win.
Another thing I have to point out at this point is that It My Does has shortened the gap to Evilsook on those hard setup tires. If I'm not wrong, the gap was around 6 seconds a couple laps ago. Now the gap is only 4.1 seconds, and I think he'll start shortening now the gap, as the hard tires should be working better than the mediums at this point. But both are close to making their stops at any moment now. Both are gonna definitely go for these soft setup tires at this point. But we'll see how much time Evilsook can hold It My Does behind now on the better tires. 4 seconds, now it's gonna be 3.9 at any moment. And yeah, I also have to say Cool Guy 24.6 seconds behind Evilsook. Evilsook is definitely gonna be a bit behind him when he has to come into the pit lane. Now Vintage Grease does come into the pit lane on the hard setup tires. Here comes Cool Guy down the inside of Kels. But who has got the DRS? It's been Cool Guy's got the DRS, and now it's Kels that's coming into the pit lane on the hard setup tires. I think is one of the first drivers on the hards coming to the pit lane. Vintage Grease is also into the pit lane, but for the medium set of tires, he's not going for these soft tires, as what I think his teammate is planning to do so. And It My Does now 3.7, so Evilsook is gonna hope that the laps go quickly by, as if not, It My Does will be just at his back at any moment now. 3.8 the gap between the two drivers in the top places. Now the gap extends once again to 4 seconds, so might have been a mistake there from It My Does. Cool Guy now 24 seconds behind the leaders. So I think it's gonna be kind of complicated for Cool Guy to win this race at this point after the mistake. Simply the time is not enough, and Evilsook and It My Does will come on way fresher tires, possibly soft tires for the two of them. It's gonna be really tricky for Cool Guy to defend this. Looking a bit into the battles on the midfield, Magnum Gelato is closing now the gap on GTA Gamer, who is on medium tires. Magnum on a bit older hard tires, but still. Oh, Cool Guy spawn! Cool Guy spawn! Cool Guy once again, another mistake by Cool Guy. Definitely has the pace on this race, but simply hasn't kept the consistency. Down into P7 now behind even Magnum Gelato, who stopped really early on this race. And now I can say he's threw away the win. It My Does is coming to the pit lane, and he's not gone he hasn't gone for the soft tires. He's gone despite for the medium tires, and he's gonna be out just behind Darkness Abyss on P4 of this race. Actually he comes ahead, but Darkness Abyss on the warm tires is gonna easily go ahead. There goes It My Does, who didn't get the DRS, but thankfully for him, he's gonna be ahead of the Aston Martin driver, not for much time. Here comes GTA Gamer down the inside into turn 4, and he's gonna easily get the move done on warmer tires. Then Magnum Gelato, but not gonna be able to get past It My Does, or will he be? Anyway, It My Does gonna get the move done quickly on the next laps on the fresher tires. Here comes Magnum Gelato doing the switchback, almost close to a spin, but here comes It My Does trying to hold him to the plate, but unable to do so. Magnum Gelato gets ahead, but it's a place that he will easily recover at any moment now. Evil Suk leads 18 seconds ahead of Womax and now is clear to do a stop at any moment now, but he will definitely try and extend this a bit more. Here comes Cool Guy on It My Dust, gets the move done once again. No, sorry, still on cold tires, and finally Evil Suk has decided to go into the pit lane. For his stop, he's gonna go for the soft set of tires, definitely not gonna go for the hard. There he goes, Evolsuk on soft set of tires for 10 more laps in this race. He's gonna be just behind Womax. He is gonna stay ahead of Abyss, I guess. Yes, he will. Evolsuk, after his pit stop, only down into second place. The consistency was a key factor for Evolsuk. Even on the really degraded medium tires, he managed to keep it consistent on this race. And that is what is gonna possibly give him the win today.
Yeah, I think when you saw Eat My Dust he came out of the pit lane way ahead of Cool Guy. Obviously lost that position because of the cold tires, but Evil Zook is now 3.2 seconds ahead of GTA Gamer, Darkness Abyss. GTA Gamer could even finish ahead of people like Darkness Abyss and Cool Guy. So you can see their mistakes, their strategy calls have really cost them in this race. So Evil Zook now on the fresh soft compound tires. He is the favourite for this race win today. Womax is still on his hard tires that he started the race on. He'll be most likely coming in at the end of this lap for some fresh soft compound tires. But yeah, Evil Zook's 3 seconds ahead, and he's only going to gain more and more time because he has the better tires. So I think Evil Zook has this round in the bag after getting pole position. He could get a pole position, a fastest lap, and the race win, but we'll have to see, is he going to push for the fastest lap, which was just set by Deadly Mosquito, a 1 minute 31.8. So I guess we'll have to find out if he can beat that on his fresh softs. He's the only man to be on fresh softs at this stage. I think himself and GTA Gamer are the only person who have actually used the soft compound tires in this race. So yeah, some interesting strategies up and down the field. Womax actually stays out another lap, so he decides to stay out on his hard compound tires. That's definitely an interesting call from himself. But the battle for P5 rages on, as there's a bit of a train forming from P5 to P7. And Magnum actually let Eat My Dust go there, so I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe he needs to save some ERS, so let Eat My Dust ahead so he can get in the DRS and allow himself to gain more ERS than usual. But yeah, Evil Zook in a prime position to win this race. And you can see there, Darkness Abyss is actually boxed for the soft compound of tires. So that is, in my opinion, a very, very bad strategy. He was battling for probably P8 P7 in this race because of that 3-second time penalty that he has. The best that he could have gotten was probably P7 because then there's a 6.8 second gap to Huge behind. But now he's on the soft, so I assume he's banking on getting that soft compound tire fastest lap of the race. But I think he's going to lose out on points overall, so definitely not a great strategy for him. Womax finally comes into the pit lane. Evil Zook wasn't actually able to set the fast lap of the Grand Prix. He could only go for a 32.6, even though he was on the softs. So he will be looking good for the race win, but he won't get that extra point for fastest lap.
Yeah, kind of weird being one of the only drivers on the soft tires, but then we have Womax that finally decided to make stop Darkness Abyss. That, well, I think as you said, it's a terrible strategy. He would have well hold it into his place and get a better position, but I know he had a penalty, so maybe that's what made him take that decision of pitting once again. Maybe he thought he would lose anyway more places due to that penalty. But yeah, fastest lap is definitely gonna go to maybe to Womax or even Darkness Abyss and those fresh soft tires. Evilsuk hasn't been able to do it. Also might be because his ERS level right now is really low, but he's looking really good for the race win, it looks like. GTA Gamer won't be able to close the gap on those older tires. Cool Guy is trying to get a bit closer into GTA Gamer, but still it's a 1.5 second gap between second and third place, but It My Dust is the one that should be faster than the two drivers ahead of him. It's now 1.8 seconds behind Cool Guy. He should be getting past him in around 2 or 3 laps. And I have to say, one of the reasons Evelsook is gonna win today as it's going now, and I know he did a really good race, but also it's because of Cool Guy's mistake. I think definitely Cool Guy was the fastest man on track today, but simply wasn't able to keep it all together, wasn't able to keep it a consistent race, and that is what is gonna cost him the win today. He's definitely gonna be on the podium though, but unless he makes another mistake, but definitely the race win is what you want when you are clearly the fastest man on track, which was the case today, but the consistency simply wasn't there. Episode leads 3.5 seconds ahead of GTA Gamer, maybe just trying to save his tires as he really doesn't have any pressure from behind. Cool Guy trying to get close into GTA Gamer, but still not able to make it into the DRS range. Not really having too much battles on track right now. We have the battle between Chromat and Kels coming into turn 4, still Chromat a bit far behind from the Alfa Romeo driver. And then we have literally Siggins on the soft tires, finally the man that started last this race. Tried to stay for some time in the midfield, maybe try to score a bit of points, but at the end it didn't work. He's come back down into the last places of this race, but he's going now for a move on Jagerman. They did a late defensive move there into turn 1, I think, and literally Siggins is gonna have to back off there and is gonna try and get the move done into turn 4, but I think he's a bit far behind to go for it at this moment. Ben goes for another stop, definitely gonna try and go for fastest lap at this point. Cool Guy finally makes it into the RS range with GTA Gamer, but GTA Gamer at the moment is clear ahead, and Cool Guy doesn't seem to be a menace for him at this point. 6 stamps into the exit of turn 3 and definitely... but he spins! GTA Gamer spins at the exit of turn 3, and that is gonna let Cool Guy take easily the place, which could have been an easy P2 maybe for GTA Gamer, at least a clear podium there. But finally the mistake is gonna cost him today. That is gonna allow Eat My Dust into the podium, which he is still fighting for a P2 finish today. 2 seconds behind Cool Guy, but hasn't been able to shorten that gap anymore at this point. Evilsook leads 4.1 seconds ahead and looks clear into a comfortable win at this point of the race.
Yeah, and that's a costly error there from GTA Gamer. He went from all the way from P12 to P2. How he did it, I'm not too sure. I think it was just too many mistakes from people like Cool Guy and Darkness Abyss that really cost them. Eat My Dust on a weird strategy to go very long on the hards and then only do 10 laps on the mediums. That allowed GTA Gamer to really get up into the top of the field, but now he is in P6 in this race, and that's a McLaren driver who's actually getting lapped there, so that's a shame to see. I think it was PAFR Benny just getting lapped by GTA Gamer, but yeah, he's gone now from P12 to P6 instead of P12 to P2. You can see Evil Zook 4.2 seconds ahead of Cool Guy. We've seen a lot of mistakes from a lot of drivers. I think almost every driver in the grid has made at least one mistake now, as Evil Zook is actually the only person not to make any big mistakes apart from his race start, where he lost 3 positions, fell down from pole to P4. So yeah, I think every driver has made a mistake, but it's just about how big the mistake has been and how they've been able to pick themselves back up. Obviously, Evil Zook has been the most consistent. He stayed out long on the mediums because he knew that if he boxed, he would have, because Darkness Abyss, he boxed so early. So people like Evil Zook, Cool Guy, they were able to see where they would have come out if they boxed, and they saw that he came out into a massive train, and Evil Zook was the only guy to think, well, if I box into there, I'm going to lose a lot of time behind slower drivers. So he kept himself in the clean air, kept it consistent, kept it fast, and that's ultimately why he's in the lead by 3.8 seconds over Cool Guy.
But I actually have to say the gap one lap ago was 4.1 between Evilsuk and Coolguy, and actually Coolguy starting to close the gap even with older tires and with a harder set of tires. And the stuff shouldn't be that degraded after only 6 laps, so I think that just demonstrated how much faster Coolguy was today on this race, how much pace advantage he really had coming into this race, but simply the mistakes is what is causing him the win at this point. But you never know, he seems to be really fast, and the softs are gonna be worse into the next 3 laps, so actually this race might not be over yet. We might have a late battle for the win as it's going now, as Coolguy starts to put a bit of pressure here on Evilsuk, both of them with no ERS at all, so it's just gonna be pure driving, pure tire management at this point of the race. We'll see who will finally see the checkered flag first on this race. Possibly gonna be Evilsuk anyway, but you never know. Coolguy seems to be by far the man with the pace advantage, so you never know. 3.5 with 3 laps to go. If he is able to subtract 1 second per lap, the win might be there for PAFR Coolguy, but if not, then it's gonna be a win for Evilsuk, which I think he deserves it after being the most consistent on track today. As you said, the only remarkable mistake for him today was that start where he lost 3 places, but after that it's been a perfectly managed race from the Haas driver. Also a really good race by the Haas team, as you have to you see there. His teammate Vintage Grease sitting there on P4, 3.8 behind, not really challenging for the podium, but in a really good position. There is going to be really good points for the Haas team, however this race finishes. Evilsuk leading 3.5 with 3 laps to go. Coolguy hasn't been able to shorten the gap anymore on this point. Looks like it's already decided for Evilsuk to take the win today, but you still have to finish the next 3 laps on this race. Meanwhile, Darkness Abyss hasn't been able to really make up too many places. Womak's still ahead of him, still sitting there on P9. He's not gonna go any far down than that, but definitely could have. He was for more on this race, and the penalty and the strategy simply threw away a much better result for him today. Aaron was also in point places a couple laps ago, but now down into P13, 19 seconds behind. Definitely no chance of finishing this race in points unless some carnage happens ahead of him. The gap is now reduced into 3 seconds between Evilsuk and Coolguy with 2 laps to go. 2.9 now. He only needs 1.9 seconds and he is gonna be on DRS range, but with 2 laps to go, a PAFR Coolguy win seems really unlikely. Evilsuk leads 2.7 seconds ahead, 1.7 is the gap he would need to subtract in the next lap to have a chance and aim into the race win. There's a yellow flag. That is, Juventino's been spending all the race spinning unless all this final stint of this race. And something actually is happening ahead that PAFR Orange has made up 10 seconds on Chroma on this final lap. Possibly a driver mistake from Chroma there on P12. 2.6 the gap with 2 laps to go between the 2 race leaders. Magnum Gelatos also closing the gap on Vintage Risk. Might there be a battle there between for P4 and a battle for the win there? We'll have to find out in the next couple of laps.
Meanwhile, towards the back of the grid, Darkness Abyss, who made that late stop on the soft tyres, is now trying to make up some positions as he goes down the inside of Huge into turn 4. But obviously he has that 3-second time penalty, so right now it doesn't mean much. But hopefully he can try and break a 3-second gap to Huge behind, although it's highly unlikely with old soft tyres. You can see Huge is actually on 22 lap old medium tyres. He's really stretched this stint. I think he's been on the mediums for the longest out of anyone on the grid, and you can see how much time that's losing him. So maybe, just maybe, Darkness Abyss can break out that 3-second gap. It would get him PA in this race and give him 4 points, which would be pretty nice for him as a recovery, although an overall result it wouldn't be great. BGR Angel has just retired from the session, and that is a spin on the exit of turn 6, yeah, not 7. So on the entry of turn 7, on the exit of turn 6, and he's thrown it into a wall. Um, Thankfully, well, I'm not going to say thankfully, but he was outside the points, so he doesn't lose much from it. And he's just going to have to come back next week and try to be strong. You can see Huge how much he was struggling with the tire wear. He's actually had to box on lap 28, or no, he's boxing on lap 29. I think it's a puncture. Yeah, I think that was a front left puncture. I'm not too sure, but it must have been if he's coming into the pit lane on the very last lap of the Grand Prix. So he tried to stretch the tyres as much as possible, but it just did not work out for him. You can see Darkness Overbiz or Darkness Abyss overtakes Wumax there, but he hasn't got that 3-second gap behind, so he probably won't be able to make up that position. PAFR Cool Guy is just 1.3 seconds off of the back of Evil Zook. Maybe if he had 2 more laps, he could have got that race win. But you can see Evil Zook has kept it consistent this entire race, and he's going to finish off his soft compound tire stint with a race win. And as we come out of the final turn, Evil Zook comes across the line to win the season opener here in PAFR Division 2. Cool Guy just 1 second behind in P2, and Eat My Dust getting a good result, moving himself all the way to P3, and it's a good Haas finish, like you said before, a 1-4 position, or P1 and P4 for the Haas team. That will put them in the lead in the Constructors, so a good result from them. But yeah, what do you think of that race?
I think it was a really interesting race, maybe not the most exciting, but we have really good moments like those 7 cars almost going side by side for a moment. The strategy was also really fun to watch, really entertaining to see the alternative strategies. Finally, Evil's strategy was the one that gave him the win, but still Cool Guy had a massive pace advantage through all this race. So yeah, it was a decent season opener, not the craziest race ever, not the best race ever, I'll say, but for to be a season opener, the first round of the new season and the new game, I think it was a pretty decent race, mostly what you want for a start of a great story that's coming forward into us in this PAFR Season 5 Division 2 that we have through all the rest of the year. But also I have to say I'm really happy to see that we only have 2 DNFs, 18 people made it to the finish line, despite what happened many times in last season that we might see even almost half the grid out on some races. This time it's been a really clean race in that way. 18 people into the finish line is always something good to see, especially on the season opener and on the new game with the new handling and all that stuff. Drivers still trying to get used to it, but still drivers did a really good job to make it 18 people into the finish line, so I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, and a great race from Evil Zook there. He's going to take the very first win of the season, and he'll be one to watch in the Drivers' Championship. But we'll definitely be able to see people like Cool Guy, maybe Darkness Abyss, and Eat My Dust with great consistency, and plenty of people who could get into that championship battle. But a lot of battles for positions. You saw that massive train from P9 where Cool Guy and Darkness Abyss came out of the pit lane, and they were having to battle through that. There was a big battle for the lead in the beginning. I think there were 7 cars in that P9 train actually at one point. So lots of battles up and down the grid. You can see the driver who made up the most positions is Wumax. He went from P17 to P7, so made up 10 positions in that race. So it was a great race from him. But if I had to give a driver of the day to someone, it's got to be Evil Zook. He got pole position, had that bad race start, but with a great strategy, he was able to bring it back and just had the better consistency.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I'm gonna give Evil Zook the driver of the day. Consistent race. He solved his mistake of the start of the race. And yeah, got the winning strategy, also not getting involved in all that 7-car pack and all that traffic. Stayed out, standed even in a bit more, much more worn tires. And yeah, managed to not make any mistakes even with the last grip of those degraded tires, and that's what gave him the win, even not being the fastest. But something to point out for the rest of the season is, even though Evelsuk won the race, definitely Cool Guy seems to be by far the fastest man on this grid. So, uh, first round might go to Evelsuk, but the whole championship is gonna be something really difficult to race against this Cool Guy. He seems definitely really fast, but it might also be just track related, which I really don't think. I think it's gonna be most the tendency in every race. So yeah, we'll see what will be coming next weekend, Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. What will happen? What will be the strategy to defeat this guy that, as I say, seems to be the fastest on the grid?
Yeah, and like you said, the next round is Saudi Arabia. That track is a lot more difficult on this game because almost all of the curbs are raised off of the ground, which means bottoming out is going to be a big problem. Drivers are going to have to run higher ride heights to try and balance that out. But they also have to decide, do they want to go high downforce? Do they want to go low downforce? Because there's lots of straights, but lots of high speed corners in the first, second, and even third sector. So there are high speed corners absolutely everywhere. But Evil Zook is going to have a lot of confidence. He's going to have a lot of momentum coming into the next round. So I'm sure no matter what, he is going to have good pace and good consistency, just like he did here in Bahrain for the season opener.
Yeah, but I think this is gonna be all, at least from my part for today. So I'm gonna say big thanks to all the viewers that were commentating during the race. I'm gonna go quickly and read your final comments before saying goodbye. See what are your opinions after this exciting Bahrain Grand Prix. Really good race for to be the season opener. Let's read the final comments we're getting in our commentary box. So we have from Coca-Cola says, my goat Cool Guy. So Cool Guy fan, thanks for your support to our driver. Was really close to a win, which at the end didn't happen. Evil Suk pulled away the winning strategy. And then we have from PFR Ashton once again says, see you all at Saudi. And yeah, that's the same thing I want to say. We'll meet once again next weekend for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Just 7 days time, and we'll be back for round 2 of PAFR Season 5 Division 2. So goodbye to everyone, guys, and see you next week.